Before it was Indian Cave State Park, the land belonged to a people rejected by all. But they were still willing to open their homes and hearts to help escaped slaves go north. The Nemaha half-breed reservation was established by the Fourth Treaty of Prairie du Chien of 1830, which set aside a tract of land for the mixed ancestry descendants of French-Canadian trappers and women of the Ottawa, Iowa, and Omaha, as well as the Yankton and Santee Sioux tribes. Located in part of the Indian Territory, which was later in the Nebraska Territory and then the state of Nebraska, the tract's eastern border was the Missouri River. The reservation extended west for 10 miles. The north/south borders were between the Little Nemaha River to the north and the Great Nemaha River, near Falls City to the south. The Omaha and other tribes asked the government to set aside territory for their mixed-race descendants. Under the patrilineal systems of the Omaha and Osage, children of white fathers had no place in the tribes, where children belonged to their fathers' gens. Seeking to help mixed-blood Indian descendants get settled in society, the United States government designated allotments of land in Western Territory for their use. These were known as the half-breed tracts. Because of American Indian tribes' rules of descent and membership, European American society's discrimination, and the distance that such mixed-race families lived from most European Americans, the children of unions between European fathers and certain Indian mothers were often left outside the social networks of both societies. Generally, Indian women and their French-Canadian trader husbands and children lived under the protection of the women's tribes, but their descendants were not considered members of the tribes unless they were officially adopted, as they had white fathers, so were considered white. The Omaha and Osage tribal structures were divided into two mutye, representing the earth and the sky. Each had 5 gentes or clans, considered to have been descended from an ancestor representing an element of each mutye. Each gens had a hereditary chief from the male line. Each moiety was represented by a head chief, and the two kept balance in the tribe. The clans had specific responsibilities related to their moiety. Children belonged to their father's gens, so within this structure, there was no place for children whose father was outside the culture, unless they were officially adopted into the tribe. At the same time, the European American tribe of the majority of the United States considered the children to be Native American, because of their mothers, although the United States society was generally patriarchal and patrilineal in terms of inheritance and descent. The United States government selected an allotment of land along the Missouri River bluffs, an area described as too steep and tree-covered for farming, fit only for hunting. It was described in the Treaty of Prairie du Chien of 1830, confirmed by the Ottawa, Omaha, Missouri, and other tribes and the government, which established the rules for the half-breed tract. The government identified a tract of approximately 138,000 acres. The tract was located between the Little and Great Nemaha rivers in what became Nemaha County. By 1833, approximately 200 half-breeds lived on the designated land. It was not until 1854 that Congress authorized the reservation and the government established an eligibility list of potential landowners. By 1858, the list had 445 names of people eligible to receive 320 acres each. By then, however, non-Indian squatters occupied almost half the land and the government did not evict them. When allotments were finalized on September 10, 1860, each eligible person received 314 acres. Louis Neal received the first patent to own land on the reservation. The Underground Railroad, a route staffed by volunteers helping slaves escape to the north, ran through the reservation toward John Brown's Cave. This was its last stop. St. Derouin, founded by half-breeds to serve the Nemaha half-breed reservation, the town grew up around a trading post and was named in 1853 after Joseph Derouin, the trader. Derouin was the son of a Métis French-Canadian trapper Aimable Derouin and his Ottawa wife. The elder Derouin had traded along the nearby Missouri River for decades, and a trading post was already operating near the town site when Lewis and Clark came through with their expedition in 1804. In 1840, Joseph Derouin set up a trading post along the river's edge at the mouth of the Platte River, at the main village of the Ottawa. He married Meekahumi, an Omaha woman, and they had a daughter Mary. In 1842, Derouin also married the two Métis sisters, Julia and Susie Bisquet, who were daughters of an Ottawa woman. Together he had a total of 8 children with them. Joseph and his brother John Derouin each received allotments of land at the Nemaha Reservation, which was established in 1830. Joseph's daughter Mary and his third wife, Susie Bisquet Derouin, also were recorded as having allotments there. Joseph was murdered in 1858 by a white settler in a dispute over money owed. Increasingly, white settlers were moving into Ottawa and Omaha land, as well as the Nemaha Reservation, and displacing native residents. They laid out a town site below the river bluffs in 1856. Although the Native Americans appealed to the U.S. government to remove the interlopers, they were unsuccessful. European American settlers moved in around Derouin's trading post and named the town St. Deroin, hoping to link it to the downriver cities of St. Joseph and St. Louis. From 1854, a ferry service brought passengers from Iowa across the Missouri. In addition to the early trading post and ferry service, a U.S. post office operated in the town from 1861 to 1910. The town had a subscription school that was started in 1858. Residents built a brick schoolhouse in 1868, when river commerce revived after the end of the American Civil War. In 1912, when the river was rapidly swallowing the town site, the school building was dismantled and reassembled on the higher ground of the river bluffs. Other buildings in town included a hotel and 2 blacksmith shops. In the 1870s, at probably its economic peak, the town had nearly 200 residents and 20 businesses. By 1880, its population had dropped to about 90, and spring floods washed away some buildings on the floodplain. Steamboats became infrequent and, with construction of a railroad spur between Nemaha and Schubert, Nebraska that bypassed St. Deroin, its economic life dried up. After 30 years of ferries at St. Deroin, the Missouri River changed course and made ferrying impossible. The service was moved to Brownville in 1915. Since the 1840s, most of the town below the river bluff has been washed away by floods. Today only the cemetery and the St. Deroin School sit on the bluffs above the original location. The town was completely abandoned by 1920. Indian Cave State Park. Named for the large sandstone cave within the park, Indian Cave State Park encompasses 3,052 rugged acres bordering the mighty Missouri River. The park is well known for its beautiful camping and picnicking spots, as well as for its 22 miles of scenic hiking and biking trails. The park boasts sweeping views of the wide, winding Missouri River and a majestic hardwood forest that puts on a spectacular show of colors each autumn. During the park's annual Haunted Hollow in October, visitors can soak in the beauty of the season while partaking in hayrack rides, spooky campsite decorating contests, games, crafts, and other family-friendly activities. The state park lies 10 miles south of Brownville and 8 miles east of Schubert, straddling the county line between Nemaha and Richardson counties. Indian Cave. Indian Cave is the main geologic feature of the state park and bears prehistoric Native American petroglyphs of unknown date and origin. View them from the ADA-accessible boardwalk, with seating, information signs, and an 8-foot wide viewing deck that is just below the cave opening. Guests can also view the Missouri River from the boardwalk. Some of the carvings within Indian Cave are believed to be several thousand years old, but their exact period and cultural affiliations are undetermined. Trails. Indian Cave State Park is well known for its beautiful trail system and offers 22 miles of hike/bike trails, as well as 16 miles of equestrian trails. All trail users will find a variety of trails to suit their tastes, with the most scenic along the river. Adirondack shelters are located periodically along the trails. Camping. Indian Cave State Park offers campers Electric Plus, Electric, Basic and Equestrian Basic campsites. Ash Grove Campground has 51 Electric Plus and 36 Electric campsites, and Hackberry Hollow Campground has 32 Electric Plus and 15 Electric pad sites. Campers will enjoy an array of amenities including showers, modern restrooms, laundry facility, and a dump and fill station, as well as picnic tables and grills. For those that like to camp among the scenic hills, there are many basic campsites that are open for use year-round. Showers are available in the basic camping area, as well as a water hydrant and electrical hookups. Grills and ground-level fire rings are provided. Additionally, there are Adirondack shelters along the trails for back-to-nature enthusiasts. Camping reservations are available for half of the electrical campsites in Ash Grove and Hackberry Hollow campgrounds. All other camping is first come, first served. All campers should check in at the park entrance or office upon arrival. For those camping without reservations, please go to park entrance booth or office upon arrival to check availability and register to camp. If arriving after hours, campers register their nightly camping fees in a raised locked box called an Iron Ranger. Self-service envelopes are provided at the Iron Ranger located at the park entrance. Check or cash only. On-site camping informational signs are provided to help guide campers with the self-registration process. Equestrian camping. Indian Cave boasts 16 miles of equestrian trails and has an established horse camp for private horses with basic equestrian camping. Riders should carry drinking water. A water wagon is available for horses. Amenities include toilets, grills, tables, hitching posts and 12 corrals. Equestrian camping is all first come, first served.